Good morning, namaste, welcome to Story Time with Rashmi on Tuesday at 11:30. As we all know, the theme for this quarter on Spectrum the Awareness Project is core values. And those core values are acceptance, empathy, and inclusion. So today we have a very special storyteller. Her name is Sushma. Sushma is a freelance content writer. She's a mandala art educator, a talk show host, and from her intricate mandalas, she brings about a different perspective of giving us a mindful way of living and how we can self-care through her beautiful mandala workshops. And Sushma is not only an artist, but she's also a core team member of Spectrum the Awareness Project. Today, Sushma will touch upon the core values through her storytelling. The story for sure will captivate the listener's attention to our core values and will listen to the story very carefully as it is going to bring food for thought to all of us as a community. So a very warm welcome, Sushma, with your story today. So let's hear what Sushma has for all of us.
Hi Rashmi, thanks so much for such a warm welcome and all the love and support. Before we begin the story, I just want to say a line that ever since the storytelling session has been started, and we have seen so many storytellers coming here and sharing something or the other. It is kind of we are enriching that bank of ours, learning so many things. So kudos to everybody who has been a part of this whole storytelling process and truly have brought out the power of storytelling. So yes, a big round of applause to everybody. And today, like you said that even I'm joining that tribe to as a storyteller and with my story. So we'll begin the story, Rashmi. I'll go ahead. So yeah, the title of the story is Lights On, Hearts Open, a lesson on inclusion. It was a Saturday afternoon, rainy day, and a perfect one for a movie date. Priya and Arav, filled with excitement, entered the movie theater. Arav was a bright and curious child. He was always full of questions about the world. Today, they would watch a new animated film he had been eagerly looking forward to for weeks. The theater was buzzing with excitement. Kids clutched with popcorns and their soda cups, some with their favorite margarita pizzas, bouncing in their seats as parents chatted and found their spots. The aroma of freshly popped corn filled the air, mingling with the hot coffee cups. Laughter and chatter created a lively atmosphere, setting the tone right for an enjoyable family time for all. As everyone settled into their seats, there was a sudden shift in the atmosphere, and it caught everybody's attention. A young boy, Rohan, accompanied by his parents, entered the theater hall. He immediately gravitated towards the in house play area, which was in one corner, and rushed down there. His parents followed him and stood by him as he explored the soft play zone for kids. From the corner of his eyes, Arav noticed something was unusual with Rohan. But as he was so excited for the movie to begin, he shifted his focus to the screen. The lights were dimmed, the theater buzzed with the loud music, and the movie had finally begun. As the movie played and everybody was glued to the story, people notice that a child is running to and fro the slide area once in a while, and there's someone in the dark who is grabbing him and making him stand in one place. Like Arav, the people in the theater noticed that, oh, this child was Rohan, the same boy who entered a while ago. Rohan was uncomfortable with something, and everybody could sense that the discomfort was growing slowly. He covered his ears and rocked back and forth. The darkness and the loud sound was becoming too much for him to handle. Rohan was neurodiverse, and new environment could sometimes be overwhelming for him. He began to fidget as the lights dimmed and his discomfort grew. Mom, why is that boy acting like that? Arav whispered to Priya, his eyes wide with curiosity. Arav, he might be different. He might be feeling scared, overwhelmed, or maybe uncomfortable right now. You see, everybody has their way of experiencing the world. Arav kind of accepted his mom's thoughts and got back to the movie. On the other side, there was something happening. Seeing Rohan's distress, the theater personnel turned on the lights, hoping that it would ease his anxiety. But this act of kindness was met with resistance. People started to murmur, and the interval was announced. The movie resumed after the interval. Everyone got their fillers of the favorite movie time food companion. Kids settled down after playing in the play area, and all the parents were also there in the theater, hoping to continue the movie. The lights were off, the audience was yet again ready, and the movie continued. But this time, a sudden turn of events caught everyone off guard. Few people rushed from one end of the theater towards where Rohan was standing, and the lights were on again in a matter of few seconds. The murmur grew louder than before, and complaints soon followed. We came here for a movie night, not to sit in a lit room, one parent exclaimed. Please turn off the lights, our kids are getting distracted. Another one added. Why our kids are being forced to watch a movie in a bright light? One parent screamed from far. Another one said, is it a joke? Who watches movie in such a bright light? What is this? You guys have spoiled our movie time. The movie was paused after a few parents left their seats and they went to the theater officials to talk it out and sort the matter. And well, while every parent was concerned about the kids were already lined up in the play area, grabbing the time they got to play and have fun. The parents were still trying to figure out what is happening. The theater manager tried calming the crowd, but the discontent grew. The reason here for switching on the light was Rohan's sensory issues and his discomfort. While the theater people tried to help this neurodiverse child, they were charged left, right, center by parents. Amid all these chaos, few parents actually tried calming down the other parents by saying, guys, it's just one movie. How does it matter? Can we just support the child and his parents and make this a memorable one for them? Can we just watch one movie in our lifetime with bright light on? We do that at home as well. But these statements fell on deaf ears. It continued for a while, and eventually the lights were switched off. Rohan was kind of settled down in his seat by his parents, and the remaining bit of the movie was watched by everybody with the lights off and hearts closed. Priya and Arav came back home, but this entire situation was generating a lot of curiosity for Arav. He replayed the afternoon events in his mind, and sensing his son's discomfort, Priya sat beside him. What are you thinking about, Arav? She asked gently. Mom, I don't understand. Why were people so upset? That boy just needed the lights on. It did not seem like a big deal to me, was it? His voice was filled with innocence. Priya smiled and somewhere proud of her son's empathy. She continued, yes, Arav, you're right. Sometimes people forget that a small act of kindness can make a big difference. Remember that day you came home from school and you kept on asking me, Mom, what does inclusion means? Can you explain me? Now understand inclusion from this recent event. Inclusion means understanding and accepting each other. It is about creating a space where everyone feels comfortable, respected. Like you said, watching a movie with lights on was not a big deal at all. We do the same at home, right? We binge watch, we watch shows in our giant TV screens with the whole house lit up bright. But here, what happened was not everybody was okay with compromising their comfort and their idea of watching movies in a theater, which is so romanticized by switching off the lights and sitting comfortably in your seats. As a result, you saw what has happened. Arav nodded thoughtfully and he was up with his next question for his mom. So, mom, what if the situation repeats and I see something like this happening next time? What should I do? Priya took a moment to reply and continue. Remember, Arav, to choose kindness and understanding over anything. Inclusion is a win win situation because everyone benefits when we support each other. So always remember this, Arav, when you see something similar has happened somewhere. And just imagine for a second that if the roles were reversed, how would you want others to react to it? As Arav pondered on his mother's words, I would like here to pose a question to our audience. What would you have done in a similar situation? Is it true that we sometimes overlook the needs of other people in our rush to meet our own needs? Is it true? How can we as a community teach our children the value of inclusion and empathy? How can we as a community create a world where inclusion is the norm and not the exception? Thank you.
Beautiful story, Sushma. And to our viewers who are listening to the story Sushma just narrated, and I think it is happening every day and day in and day out in our surroundings. I think we are living by all of this. So, Sushma, before we discuss further, there are some of our viewers who are watching this have some, points they have mentioned. So, Nina Girish, she says kids are very they notice things very soon and they're very good observers. Like in your case, Arav's question to her mom was immediate when he noticed something different. And going further, Nina also appreciates, the kindness or the act of mindfulness which the theater people showed,
Yeah.
which is also very appreciable. Um, Pushkala's mom, Vani Akka, says, hoping for such awareness and acceptance in public areas, world would be so much better place for neurodivergent. And Nina says, children are so empathetic than elders. And she says, very proud of you, Arav. And again, Vani Akka, she says, actually, had the parents just thought about how we watch movies at home with lights on, would have made a lot of difference. So, again, Vani Akka, she says, so kind of people in charge of the theater. And then she says, sensory issues are less understood in public. And if this awareness is there, so it becomes so much easy for neurodivergent children to also have a good experience in their life. So this has been, our viewers who've been watching you, and that is what they have answered to you. So नीना, so सुषमा, आगे जाते हुए कुछ बातें आपसे समझना चाहेंगे कि जो अभी हमने स्टोरी में डिस्कस किया कि रोहन एक न्यूरो डाइवर्जेंट बच्चा है जो पहली बार मूवी देखने आया है, और उसका हम सब एक एज एन इंक्लूसिव सोसाइटी हम सब उसको एक एक्सपीरियंस देने की एक पहल कर सकते हैं। और प्रिया के माध्यम से जो आपने बताया रोल ऑफ अ पेरेंट, कि किस तरीके से एक अवेयर पेरेंट, एक पेरेंट जो अपने बच्चे से खुल के बात करता है और बताता है कि what inclusion actually means. Inclusion is nothing which is happening extraordinary or differently. It is a way of life. So आज हम जो अपने बच्चों को बताएंगे, मे बी वो भी आगे चल के इसी चीज को एक्सपीरियंस करेंगे। सो आपका क्या कहना है इस बारे में, सुषमा?
First, thanks to our, viewers, as, our community, our people who have been watching and supporting the whole storytelling sessions. And like you said, Rashmi, ये बहुत जरूरी है हम पेरेंट्स के लिए समझने की, क्योंकि हम हमेशा ये जरूर कहते हैं कि जो हम सीख करते हैं हमारा बच्चा हमसे सीखता है। ठीक है, कई बारी हम ये भी सोचते हैं कि हम बैठा कर बच्चों को समझाएं, बट यहाँ पे इस सिचुएशन में वहां पे बहुत बच्चे थे इस थिएटर में, राइट? वो कहाँ से सीखते हैं? वो इन्हीं पेरेंट्स से सीखते। अगर वहां पे सिचुएशन को हैंडल बेहतर तरीके से किया जाता, सो वहां पे दो चीजें होती। एक, वो बच्चे में इम्बाइब हो जाती हैं ऑटोमेटिक, just like how Arav and Priya, they shared that conversation. Okay, they sat down and discussed it, and Priya explained it, and somewhere Arav got it because he might be getting that kind of conversation from his mother. So rather than कि हम बहुत बड़ा बड़ा बोलें, in the small things lies the bigger sense. Like you mentioned कि इंक्लूजन को इतना अलग से बढ़ा चढ़ा के अलग से कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है। आप सोचेंगे कि मैं ये करूं तो इंक्लूजन होगा, आप अपने रूटीन के बिहेवियर में अगर चेंज लाएंगे, आपके आसपास के लोगों में वो ऑटोमेटिकली वो दिखेगा, और वो फिर बिगर स्केल पे, लाइक पब्लिक प्लेस, जैसे वानी अक्का ने कहा, in any public places, in movie theaters, it can become a more happy experience for everybody.
Exactly. So सुरभि जी आपका लाइव देख रही हैं, उन्होंने कहा है वेरी वेल नरेटेड स्टोरी सुषमा, टू थिंक बियॉन्ड सेल्फ, people are forgetting this, they are just forgetting to think beyond self. And I will read more. And Aarti Mathur ji says a very nicely narrated story. Also, Sushma, at this point, I would also like to mention that children by nature are inclusive.
Right.
Children by nature are so accommodating and inclusive. It is us elders who need to learn this inclusiveness. And I think your story brings about a thoughtful message, or again, a food for thought for every one of us to think beyond ourselves and think about inclusiveness. Thank you so much, Sushma, for this wonderful story, and a thought-provoking story rather. I hope all of you will come back to Sushma with the questions she asked. Definitely she will get back to you. And stay tuned for all such more inclusive stories in our regional languages, in our story time with Nina Auntie and the power of storytelling. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye.